Hey, good evening, guys. Saw something on Facebook today that I thought was very interesting. Friend of mine, our youth pastor at church, Daniel Cox, had posted on his Facebook page, and it was just a good read. And I thought that's very interesting. You know, you never know when you're going to make a difference. You never know when you're actually going to touch someone. So, we can go and try to make a difference in people's lives, but truly, you really don't know when you do sometimes. I think I just want to read this to you. It's not long, but it's a little long. Uh, I do not read well, so bear with me. Hopefully you'll get a little something out of it like I did. I don't know who wrote this. Daniel just posted it on his Facebook. So I'll just, if you wrote it, you did a great job. So here goes. The little boy put his clothes for the cold and then told his father, "Okay, Dad, I'm ready." His dad, the pastor, said, "Ready for what?" "Dad, it's time to go and distribute the flyers." Dad replied, "Son, it's very cold outside and it's drizzling." The child looked surprised at his father and said, "But Dad, people need to know about Jesus even in rainy days." The dad replied, "Son, I'm not going outside in this weather." With despair, the son said, "Dad, can I go alone, please?" His father waited a moment and then said, "Son, you can go. Here's the flyers. Just be careful." "Okay, thanks, Dad." And with that, the son went out into the rain. The 11-year-old walked all the streets of the village, handing out flyers to the people he saw. After 2 hours of walking in the rain and the cold, with his last flyer in hand, he stopped at the corner to see if he saw anyone he could give the flyer to, but the streets were totally deserted. Then he turned to the first house he saw, walked to the front door, and rang the doorbell several times and waited, but no one came out. Finally, the boy turned to leave, but something stopped him. The boy turned back to the door and began to touch the bell and pound on the door strongly with his knuckles. He kept waiting. Finally, the door opened gently. A lady came out with a very sad look and gently asked, "What can I do for you, son?" With radiant eyes and a bright smile, the child said, "Lady, I'm sorry if I upset you, but I just wanted to tell you that God really loves you and that I came to give you my last flyer, which talks about God and His great love." The boy then gave her the flyer. She just said, "Thank you, son. God bless you." Well, the next Sunday morning, the pastor was in the pulpit. When the service began, he asked, "Someone have a testimony or something they'd like to share?" Gently, in the back row of the church, an elderly lady stood up and she started talking. A radiant and glorious look sprouted from her eyes. "Nobody in this church knows me. I've never been here. Even last Sunday, I wasn't even a Christian. My husband died a while ago, leaving me totally alone in this world. Last Sunday was a particularly cold and rainy day, and it was also in my heart. On that day, I came to the end of the road. Since I had no hope and didn't want to live anymore. Then I took a chair and a rope and went up to the attic of my house. I tied one end of the rope to the rafters of the roof and then climbed onto the chair and put the other end of the rope around my neck. I then stood on the chair, so alone and heartbroken. I was about to throw myself off the chair, then suddenly I heard a loud sound and the door being knocked. So I thought, I'll wait a minute and whoever it is will go. I waited and I waited, but the door knocking got louder and louder every time. It got so loud I couldn't ignore it anymore. So I wondered, who could it be? No one ever comes close to my door or comes to visit me. I released the rope around my neck and went to the door. While the bell was still ringing and the door still being knocked on, when I opened the door, I couldn't believe my eyes. In front of my door was the most radiant and angelic child I had ever seen. His smile, oh, I can never describe it. The words that came out of his mouth made my heart, dead for so long, come back to life. Then she said with the voice of a cherub, "Lady, I just want to tell you that God really loves you." When the angel disappeared between the cold and the rain, I closed my door and read every word on the flyer. Then I went to the attic to remove the chair and rope. I didn't need it anymore. As you see, now I'm a happy daughter of the King. In the directions of the boy when he left to this church, I came personally to say thank you to that little angel of God who came just in time and, in fact, to rescue my life from eternity in hell and replaced it with an eternity in God's presence. Everyone in the church cried. The pastor came down from the pulpit to the first bench in the front where the little angel was sitting. He took his son in his arms and cried uncontrollably. It says down here, don't let this message die of cold. After reading it, pass it on to others. Remember, God's message can make a difference in someone's life. Never be afraid to share it. Guys, that is so true. I know that not everyone, which right now not many people I'm sure will look at my vlog, and that's fine. But I know that not everyone has accepted that gift that God gives us. They don't realize that they need this free gift. It is a great story. And that's how God works. He takes willing people, like this little boy. He didn't let the rain or the cold get in the way of handing out the flyers. Now, I know that us older people, we see, things that are done that are, we know that are not going to make a difference, or we think they're not going to make a difference. And time and logic tells us that, you don't have to go out there in the cold rain. This story may not be true, but I just about bet you that it's probably more true than you realize. The characters may not be the same, but in many, many times, God uses that willing soul to be, like this story here says, an angelic child, to be that angel, because we all need it from time to time, and we can be that, or we can be on the receiving end of that. So just a great story and something to think about. I hope that God blesses you in a special way today. If you don't think He has, take time and just think about it. Think about how your day's gone. Might have been the worst day of your life, I don't know. But I bet if you actually stop and think about it, you've been pretty blessed today. I fell yesterday and down some steps, and I have really hurt my back. That's what this little wire is going over my shoulder to a TENS unit on my back. And from time to time, it's excruciating pain just to move my arms. But you know, God has blessed me so much, even in the last 2 days. You know, my family's healthy. I have friends that have called and checked on me. You know, it's I am so blessed. I am so blessed, and I don't deserve it. So, like I say, just a little story there that I hope touches you the way it did me. And again, God bless, and just have a great day. Like and subscribe. Hey, and comment. You may agree, you may not. Either way, it's okay. Thanks.